So, Miss Becky Pope, where did you finish on the climb?
I finished at Gilman's Point, which is the summit of the mountain.
Is that where you thought you'd end up?
Well, I was hoping to get to the actual tallest peak at Uruhu Peak, but we ran out of time, and I was climbing with Deb, and she started feeling pretty nauseated, and the porters encouraged us to turn back even though we were about an hour from the very peak. So it was a little disappointing, but you know, I'm pleased that we got as far as we did.
What was the hardest thing about the climb?
The hardest thing was really just having to dig in when I didn't feel like going any further, when I just wanted to give up, and I just wanted to turn around because I was exhausted and I was nauseous a little bit and sleepy, really.
The altitude seemed to be an issue for all of us.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the altitude.
The altitude is something that's really pretty surprising because when we were at the Kibo huts, about 15,000 feet above sea level, I didn't feel too bad, and I got surprised how quickly I became almost really drowsy. I couldn't keep really a coherent thought. The little bit of nausea happened. Luckily, I didn't have a headache at all, but I know a number of people had headaches. A lot of people had extreme nausea. A lot of people were actually vomiting.
Yeah, that definitely was the case. When you look back at everything that you started all of this. What are your thoughts?
I'm just overwhelmed. You know, it was like a mustard seed that grew into a ginormous tree. Just something I never expected.
What do you think most of the people are going to take away from this?
I hope they take away inspiration. I hope they feel encouraged. I hope that they feel inspired that when they're facing some type of difficulty in their own lives, whatever it may be, whether it's disease or whether it's just life itself, that there's a way to overcome that, and you don't have to give up.
I just lost my thought, but how do you feel now that this is done and you're prepping now for surgery?
I'm I don't know how I feel. I'm glad the trip is over in many ways. I feel like I reached the goal pretty much that I wanted to accomplish. I feel like I hopefully gave some hope to people that are suffering with cancer, to know that there are ways that you don't just have to settle for the disease. I'm feeling a little bit anxious about going back to have surgery and chemotherapy. It's not like I'm going back just to fully celebrate that, but you know, that's just another piece of the mountain, and it's another hurdle that I'll overcome.
You know, you were up at the top there, and you're standing at Gilman's Point. What was going through your mind?
I was really just kind of taking in the beauty of it. It was absolutely breathtaking up there. Of course, it literally was breathtaking up there. And like I said, I had a hard time really keeping coherent thoughts. I had brought a banner with me that had been prepared by my friend Bob Glazier, and it said, "Houston, we've reached the summit," and bringing awareness of ovarian cancer. And so I spread that out with a porter and took a picture of that, and that was great. That was the highlight.
There were so many things that went along the way of this trip. So it wasn't just the last day of the climb. We had to still come down that mountain.
Right.
Speak about coming down the mountain.
Well, down the mountain, thank God I had two porters that actually assisted me because it was scree all the way down. And I had one on each side of my arm, and they were literally almost surfing through the scree, almost like we were downhill skiing. And it was actually kind of fun, but they wore me out, and I'd have to say, "Pole, pole," which means slow, slow, let me catch my breath. So yeah, that was a challenge in and of itself after you're exhausted at having climbed that mountain.
Did anyone surprise you out of this trip?
No, I don't think so. I am just so proud of every woman that climbed this mountain. Each one of them got to a place where they'd never been before in their lives. Each of them dug down deeper than they'd ever dug before. And I think all of us accomplished something to be proud of.
Any closing thoughts?
Never give up. There's always hope.